Today, we're going to rank all of the mini-boss and boss mobs in Minecraft. But before we get into that, only a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking the video, consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. First of all, what is a boss mob? If we want the strictest definition, we would have two, the Wither and the Ender Dragon. These are the bosses which actually show boss bars above them and on screen when you fight them. But this leaves out some more difficult mobs considered by many as mini-bosses. I will include 3 mobs in this category, of which you'll find out later in the list. The reason that I included these are because they all have related events or structures and are somewhat difficult to beat. With that said, let's start the list. At number 5, it's the Ravager. The Ravager is a mob which spawns during pillager raids. The concept is cool. The enemies have domesticated a beast which can wreck structures and deal copious amounts of damage. But it is relatively easy to beat with pillaring or using water buckets as good strategies. The idea of like a beast of burden being enslaved by these enemy villagers, it's a cool concept. The entire concept of pillagers is cool, which is why it's on the list, but in terms of difficulty, it's not enough to get a high ranking. Next is the Warden. Yes, I know it isn't out yet, but it has its own biome and is, by far, the most difficult overworld mob to beat, as far as we have seen. The player, even with netherite gear, isn't able to take it down. It would rank higher, but for the fact that we don't know much about it, and we'll see in the snapshots. The whole deep dark biome and the skulk block are amazing ideas, and I think they'll work really well in the concept of Minecraft, and there's a lot of tactical play to this mob, but the developers have actually stated that it wasn't actually meant to be beatable. So in terms of difficulty, it's up there, but once again, we don't know how quote-unquote unbeatable it is, and that's holding it back. Number 3 is the Elder Guardian. These spawn in ocean monuments, and you need to defeat 3 in order to free the monument. They act as the boss of the structure, which is cool lore. Since it's water-based, it's quite difficult, which boosts its ranking. The entire concept of the ocean monument is just cool, kind of underwater ruin which has been taken over by the hostile fish in the sea, the Guardians, and their sort of greater species, the Elder Guardians. And these Elder Guardians have sort of taken up residence as like the kings of these underwater areas, and that's just cool lore. I think so. But it's not extraordinarily tough to defeat, as the next 2 are a lot harder. Alright, for number 2, it's the Wither, one of the 2 actual boss mobs. It is spawned with 4 soul sand and 3 wither skeletons, but there's not that much of lore surrounding it. The most amount of lore is the wither skeletons, which spawn in nether fortresses, so you could link it to that. But the fact that you can spawn it anywhere just sort of reduces that sort of lore factor. But it is significantly harder to defeat than any of the previous mobs we've discussed, but it is not as hard as our final mob. It is also easy to beat if you use certain strategies, such as locking it in the top of the nether, as we did here. And number 1, it had to be the Ender Dragon. The oldest of these mobs has its own dimension, and by beating it, you beat the game. The fight is challenging, with the pillars to destroy, the dragons being able to fire end acid, endermen all over you, and the threat of being thrown by the dragon. And that sort of combination of lore with an entire biome there, which is sort of wacky and cool, and the difficulty of the fight easily puts it into the number 1 spot. It's the obvious choice, and it's the oldest of the boss mobs, and in this case, olden is golden. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you did like it, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed, and since it really helps out the channel, and like the video if you liked it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
Oh, wait, I can just press the water component down.
Oh my god.
Oh! Oh my god! Yo, I'm the best gamer in the world, bro! MLG bucket! MLG bucket! Oh my god!